Welcome back to the Trials of Tiles. If you haven't seen the previous video yet with the hard ranked puzzle, you should check that out first and give it a try, because in this video I'll be going over the solution. And with that being said, a big congrats to this puzzle's top solvers. I received some pretty mind-blowing answers for this one. Some of you implemented parity and tackled certain parts of the puzzles in ways I hadn't even thought of, and I always love to see that sort of thing. Now let's get to the answer. First of all, before we even start filling in any part of the path, let's think about these 8 doors. We know only 2 of them will be used, and we'll need more information before we can start guessing which 2, but we can use the concept of parity to narrow down the possibilities. And by parity, I'm referring to the 2 colors that the tiles alternate between, like a chessboard. If we try to make a path that includes every single tile in the room, while ignoring the actual rules of the puzzle and ignoring the walls, we can see that the tile we start on and the tile we end on will be opposite colors. It doesn't matter where the path starts or how it zigzags throughout the room, the number of tiles in the room is constant. That means of the 2 doors that are part of the solution, one will be on a light colored tile, while the other will be on a dark colored tile. This cuts down the possible combinations of which doors will be used to almost 25%. That's a good start. So let's just keep that in mind and begin drawing our path. As always, we'll start with the corners and any other tiles where the path is limited to only one possibility. Now there's a lot we can do here. Let's just quickly look at the top left because that whole corner is looking very cramped. In order to avoid the paths here from connecting to each other in a way that creates an enclosed loop, we'll need to make sure it zigzags here like this. And that's all we'll do here for now, since we're not sure if the path on either end will stretch out into the rest of the room or turn into one of the doors. Now let's look at this tile here. Anytime we have a tile that's diagonal from a corner and has a wall on one of its outer edges, we can actually deduce a piece of the path in that tile. Let me explain what I mean by that. The wall here means there's only 3 ways the path can go through this tile, but one of them is actually impossible due to the nearby corner. The path can't turn like this or it'd make a tiny loop. So really there's only 2 ways the path can look. It'll either turn like this, or it'll go straight through like this. We can't be sure which, but they both have this top part of the path in common, so we can know for sure that we need that part of the path. And we can actually extend this trick a little more. We know the path here can't turn downward like this, or again, it'd create a loop. So it either bends and turns up, or it goes straight up. Either way, it definitely goes up. Now that part of the path connected to a piece we already had, and completes the path on this tile in front of the door, so we know this door here will not be used. Also, that means this tile here is a corner, so let's fill in the path as needed. Now let's look at the left of the puzzle. We can use that same trick for this tile here. It's diagonal from a corner and has a wall on one of its outer edges. We know the path can't bend like this, so the only 2 possibilities left have this piece in common, where it has to go straight up. This logic extends to the next tile here. The path can't bend like this, so it has to include this piece here. And then finally it extends even farther here. The path can't bend like this, so a piece of it has to go up here. And that eliminates another door. Now let's look at the bottom left corner and use that trick again on this tile. It can't bend and make a loop, so it'll have to extend to the right here. And then again here, it can't bend, so it'll have to extend to the right. And finally, we can actually extend the trick farther here than we've done anywhere else. The path can't bend downward like this on this tile, so it either bends up or it goes straight up, so either way it goes up. Now the path here has nowhere else to go except to connect here to its left. And that'll make 2 of the nearby tiles, here and here, corner tiles. So we can fill in their paths pretty easily. Now the bottom right corner is very limited. It'll have to zigzag like this and then come out into the rest of the room here, which eliminates this door. And then we can actually fill in the whole rest of the bottom left corner because there's only one way the path can fit together. It's easy if you just go piece by piece. Alright, at this point we have a majority of the path filled out and we've eliminated 3 of the doors. That means there's only 6 possible combinations left when we consider what we learned using parity at the beginning. Given how much we've filled in, this part is probably straightforward enough that we don't necessarily need to consider parity, but it can definitely help. There's only 2 dark tiled doors left, and we'll need to use one of them. If we use the one on the right here, then we won't use the one on the top, so the path would extend to the right. Now there's only 2 doors left we can use for the exit, and we can quickly see the puzzle has become impossible, because no matter which of those last 2 doors we choose, the paths linking the entrance and exit are forced to connect too soon, and the rest of the room will be excluded. So we can't use that rightmost dark tiled door. In that case, we have to use the top one. Now we can use the same logic we just did to rule out these 2 doors on the left, because if either of them are the exit, then the 2 doors we've chosen will be forced to connect too soon. That means the other door we'll need to use is the light tile door right next to the one we're using. Once we've figured that out, the rest of the path becomes fairly easy to finish, as long as we go piece by piece and only focus on tiles that have very limited options. And that's our completed path, from the entrance to the exit. The very next room is filled with the sorts of treasures you'd hope to find, and what you assume is a congratulatory message engraved on the wall. Have you been translating these throughout the temple? Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the Trials of Tiles. Next week we'll see the start of a brand new puzzle type. And until then, happy puzzling.